Here she goes again. Hide your face, hide your neck, duck your head, wear an NFL football helmet when you are playing in a game versus DiJonai Carrington. Fresh off of clotheslining, a Kane and Undertaker clothesline from hell that she delivered to Sophie Cunningham, this girl is right back on the court, hitting people upside the head once again.
Hands up, swipe for the ball with our right hand, while poking the player in the eye with the left hand.
The eyeball. We're poking eyeballs out again. Is that what we're doing? We're eye gouging.
There's a moment in sports where a pattern stops looking like bad luck and starts looking like a habit, and DiJonai Carrington just hit that moment. 4 days after she was ejected for a flagrant 2 on Sophie Cunningham, she was back on the floor against the Golden State Valkyries. And within a single game, she was involved in 2 more separate incidents where her hands ended up in places they had no business being. One of them appeared to make contact with Cecilia Zandalacini's eye. The other caught Tiffany Hayes across the mouth. Two different players, same game, same pattern. And this time, fans didn't wait around to ask if it was an accident.
I to tell ya, I tried. This girl is not going to stop until she takes somebody out the league. This girl will not stop until she ends somebody's career. DiJonai Carrington, once again, with another dirty foul in less than a week. In just a couple of days apart from each other. A couple of days apart from the Sophie Cunningham hard foul. You have Mrs. Eye Poke. Mrs. Flagrant foul, I'm gonna grab your head, I'm gonna hit your head, upside your head, knock you out the air. Mrs. I'm gonna pull your hair. Mrs. I'm gonna whack you on the back of your head. Mrs. Long, nailed, sharp knobbed fingertips, DiJonai Carrington strikes.
I tried to tell y'all. I tried. This girl is not going to stop until she takes somebody out of the league. This girl will not stop until she ends somebody's career. DiJonai Carrington, once again, with another controversial foul in less than a week. Just a couple of days after the Sophie Cunningham incident, Carrington was involved in 2 more physical plays that sparked another wave of criticism. On one play, Carrington was guarding Cecilia Zandalacini on the perimeter. Her right hand appeared to reach toward the ball, while her left hand swept upward and made contact around Zandalacini's eye area. Later, in the same game, Tiffany Hayes went up for a layup, and Carrington jumped with her before making contact across Hayes' mouth. Neither play resulted in a flagrant foul or technical foul, although Carrington did receive a technical earlier in the game for arguing with the referee in the 3rd quarter. The 2 plays immediately reignited the debate surrounding Carrington's physical style, and whether the league needs to take a closer look at repeated contact involving players around the head and face.
She put both hands up right after. But that's DiJonai.
Yeah, I gouged another white girl. Yeah, I gouged another white girl while wearing your Sophie Cunningham wig. I am officially, hey, this ain't Clerks 2, but I'm taking back Sophie Cunningham's hair. I'm taking it back. You got Sophie Cunningham's hair on while you're poking the white girls in the eyeballs.
Now here's where it gets serious. Because this isn't a rookie learning the speed of the league. This is a 6-year veteran who has been through 3 different franchises and has a well-documented history that includes poking Caitlin Clark in the eye during the 2024 playoffs. At the time, the incident was explained as unintentional. Clark herself said she didn't believe it was done on purpose, while Carrington also denied intentionally making contact with her eye. People gave her the benefit of the doubt. But once can be an accident, and twice can be a coincidence. When multiple incidents involve contact around the face or head, however, fans naturally start asking harder questions about whether there is a broader pattern of overly aggressive play. That doesn't prove intent, but it does make the conversation about player safety much harder to ignore.
I want to defend her, the story, the narrative that she's not a dirty player. She makes plays like this all the time. I put together a little clip of DiJonai Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA. I don't know if we can roll it, but she's taken her long fingernails. She's scratched Caitlin Clark's eyes out. She's had multiple instances of chasing people down from behind, trying the same swat and smashing them in the head and causing mini fights. She pulled another girl's hair. I don't know if we'll get to that clip in a second when she's falling. Totally dirty play. This is not a skin color thing. She has a history of making dirty plays, and it's fine. The NBA.
It's worth pointing out just how physically talented Carrington actually is, because that's part of what makes this situation so frustrating for people who genuinely respect her game. She's been recognized as one of the league's most improved players, and has developed a reputation as a strong defensive presence. She has the length, athleticism, instincts, and anticipation to guard multiple positions, which is exactly why teams continue to value her. Nobody is arguing that she isn't a legitimate basketball talent. The argument is that talent alone isn't enough to dismiss concerns when repeated physical plays continue to put other players at risk. And right now, the conversation around Carrington has shifted away from her basketball ability and toward questions about her conduct and the line between aggressive defense and unnecessary contact.
Photo from the flagrant 2 on DiJonai Carrington against Sophie Cunningham, where she proceeded to go into the locker room and tweet white privilege after being thrown out of the game. I'm not going to comment on that situation, but I will say this. This is a flagrant 2. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, don't matter. This is a flagrant. I mean, she clotheslined her. What more do you want? So, this looks very bad. It just shows that the WNBA is nowhere near where they need to be professionally. Because again, this is a clothesline. It's a flagrant.
And we have to go back to where this entire storm actually started, because the Valkyries game didn't happen in a vacuum. 4 days earlier, Carrington was involved in one of the most talked about fouls of the WNBA season. Sophie Cunningham was in the air on a fast break layup when Carrington came from behind and made contact across Cunningham's head and neck. Cunningham hit the floor hard. The officials initially called it a flagrant 1, but after reviewing the play, they upgraded it to a flagrant 2, citing the level of contact and the nature of the follow-through. That decision resulted in Carrington's ejection and immediately turned the play into a major talking point across the league.
White privilege after getting tossed from the game, but says it wasn't about the foul. Can you explain this?
No, I can't. When she tweeted white privilege, she did it so quickly, it was almost as though she had the phone in her pocket after this foul and she got ejected. So, I mean, to say she wasn't referring to this play or getting kicked out and saying that the only reason she got kicked out and it got upgraded is because Sophie Cunningham is white is crazy. It was a crazy thing to tweet, maybe crazier than to try to act like it had nothing to do with the play. So, I have no idea what she's talking about. I don't think anybody can have any idea what she's talking about.
What made that moment even messier is what happened right after. Cunningham got up and immediately confronted Carrington, and it took teammates from both sides to separate them. When reporters asked why Cunningham wasn't assessed a technical foul for her reaction, the explanation was that officials considered her response understandable, given the severity of the initial contact. That distinction matters because it shows just how seriously the officials viewed Carrington's foul. The sequence quickly became bigger than one hard play, turning into a debate about physicality, player safety, and how the league handles reactions to dangerous contact.
When it comes to DiJonai Carrington, here she is on the floor being dirty once again. The girl cannot help herself at this point. She can't help it. Take a look at this. Okay, you swing at the ball, but then you hit her all in the face with your other hand, and then you put your hands up like you didn't do nothing. You hitting her all in the face. Look at this. Watch her left hand. The right hand right here went to the ball. Watch this left hand. Like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? When is enough with this chick? Come on. You hitting people in the face. It's over and over and over. How many times do we?
Now, think about the timeline here. This is a player who scored 8 points in 4 minutes off the bench, got herself ejected in the first quarter for a foul that was upgraded to a flagrant 2, and then 4 days later was involved in 2 more controversial plays involving contact with opponents' faces in the same night. That doesn't automatically prove a pattern of intentional behavior, but it explains why the criticism has become so intense. The conversation is no longer about one isolated moment. It's about whether Carrington's aggressive style is repeatedly crossing the line and creating unnecessary risk for other players. And that brings us to a tweet that has been circulating heavily since this saga began because it highlights something statistics alone don't capture. It says, the trajectory for DJ Carrington's basketball career is not looking good. 15 teams, and in the past 2 years, Connecticut let you go. Dallas didn't want you around, Paige. Cheryl Reeve didn't want you back. Steph White didn't want you. And Chicago committed to you for 1 year. Now, whether those numbers are exact or exaggerated for effect, the underlying point is what has people talking. Carrington was drafted by Connecticut in 2021, later moved to Dallas, then Minnesota, and eventually signed with Chicago. Her career has involved several organizational changes in a relatively short period of time, but it's important not to automatically interpret every transaction as evidence that teams rejected her because of her conduct. Trades, injuries, roster construction, contracts, and coaching decisions can all play a role. What is undeniable is that her recent on-court controversies have added another layer of scrutiny to an already complicated career trajectory.
You know, DiJonai Carrington damn near decapitated Sophie Cunningham's head. And even though she bloodied Sophie Cunningham's mouth, and even though she got ejected and ran straight to Twitter after being assessed a flagrant 2 and putting white privilege in caps while tagging the Indiana Fever. We, the public, we, the fans of the WNBA, we, the fans of Sophie Cunningham, and we, the fans of good basketball, we're just stupid because we inferred that DiJonai Carrington tweeting white privilege, of course, had something to do with the flagrant 2 and the ejection. But DiJonai is coming out to set the record straight, baby. She said that we're stupid, we lack critical thinking skills, and in no way, shape, or form would she ever use the word of white.
When a player keeps getting moved, sometimes it's about fit, sometimes it's about a rebuild, and sometimes it's simply business. But when that career movement is combined with multiple coaching changes and short-term contracts, fans naturally start questioning whether teams have concerns beyond what happens on the court. At the same time, it's important not to treat a one-year contract as proof that a team lacks confidence in a player. Roster strategy, salary cap considerations, injuries, and team needs can all influence contract length. What did make this situation more complicated was the social media controversy that followed the Cunningham incident. Instead of the conversation remaining focused on the basketball play, the discussion quickly expanded into questions about race, officiating, and public perception. That shifted attention away from the original foul and created an entirely different controversy. Then, less than a week later, Carrington was involved in 2 additional plays that sparked criticism during the same game. If the league wants its rules on dangerous contact to be taken seriously, situations like this will test whether those standards are applied consistently. The key issue isn't proving someone's intent without evidence. It's whether repeated dangerous-looking contact receives the same level of scrutiny regardless of the player, the opponent, or the circumstances.
Oh, look at y'all favorite player.
Went over
look,
to one of
watch
the officials as you see Sarah Williams there.
She trying to make it seem like a fan did something crazy to her, right? While I watch.
At the moment.
Look at what y'all looking at. They going to talk to that dude. They've been trying to make him leave, right? She's trying to get somebody kicked out. So he getting up. He end up leaving, right? He end up leaving. So they got to investigate. They got to investigate. Now look at the 4th quarter. Look at who you see back sitting out there. He's sitting right there. That's him right there. And see, these are the type of games that they play when they in the wrong, right? And it's not a coincidence that this stuff is happening because she's been dirty forever. But has she been getting people kicked out like that or attempting to get people kicked out like that? No. Now all of a sudden, now it's time to start kicking people out.
And fans have absolutely noticed. People aren't just saying she had a rough game anymore. They're saying she has a pattern, and patterns get names in this business. The nickname Eye Poker isn't new. It's been following her since the Clark incident back in 2024. But now it's being used with a lot less patience and a lot more edge because this time, it's not one isolated incident from over a year ago. It's multiple incidents involving different players and contact around the face within a short period. The accountability part is where this really becomes complicated for Carrington. After the Cunningham foul, instead of addressing the play itself, she posted about white privilege from the locker room. Whatever the intent behind that post, the timing shifted the conversation away from the central basketball question. Was the foul dangerous, and how should repeated physical contact be handled? Now that the Valkyries game has happened, both storylines are colliding at once, and that has intensified the scrutiny surrounding her. The key issue is not automatically assuming intent. It's whether the league, coaches, and players are willing to seriously address repeated dangerous-looking contact when it happens. And when fans see another incident involving contact around the eyes or face, they're naturally going to remember the previous controversy.